One of the biggest discussions during this pandemic is not about masking, it's not about vaccines, it's about the actual cost of the lockdown. Anthony Furey is a Postmedia columnist. He's studied this, he writes about it. He joins me right now because I put the question to you. Anthony, what is the cost of the lockdown?
Well, for a while, we had a lot of experts, economists, public health officials saying, we're concerned we cannot let actually the cure be worse than the illness. And it was all sort of projection. Now, numbers are coming in, and there's a lot of indications that, yes, things have been worse, or at least severely damaging. Lockdowns leading to a whole lot of deaths, non-COVID caused deaths.
Like what?
Well, Statistics Canada, they've just released the 2020 excess death and mortality data. So they say first wave, you have a lot of excess deaths compared to typical years in the over 65. They overlay that with the death certificates with the coroners, and they go, these are people who died of coronavirus. Second wave, September onwards, they find there's a whole bunch of excess deaths. They put it at over 1,000 in younger cohorts. That does not match up with coronavirus deaths. So they go, this looks like we have lockdown exacerbated deaths among younger Canadians. So basically, people are dying not from coronavirus in younger cohorts, but from the lockdowns.
And the lockdowns meaning violence or drug overdoses, suicides. So then were all our public officials wrong to have a lockdown?
Well, I think they were wrong.
Something in between?
Well, they were wrong to not perform cost-benefit analysis. I actually found a pretty rigorous one from New Zealand. They have this thing like the Parliamentary Budget Office in New Zealand, and they calculated back in the first wave. They said with quality-adjusted life years, which means not just people dying imminently, but how you get long-term harm and damage to people from the lockdowns. They say without a doubt, lockdowns way more harmful than not doing lockdowns. Now, New Zealand did that benefit analysis, still did the lockdown, so I don't know what they were thinking. But here in Canada, Toronto, Ontario, there's never been any effort. I asked Barbara Yaffe that. I said, have you done a cost-benefit analysis in all of this? She just acknowledged, no, they haven't.
And so I guess also we're going to be paying this for generations because of all the kids, 6 and 7 years old and young teenagers who have not been in school. Not just the education, but the psychological impact.
Yeah, psychological damage, economic loss from having your education pushed back, all of this stuff. I predict, Stephen, in the years ahead, you're going to have public health officials and politicians who try and slightly rewrite and revise history and go, oh, no, I wasn't a big fan of lockdowns. I wanted a more balanced approach and so forth. And I say, well, remember who's saying what now. Don't let them get away with it, because it is to be wrong on this is quite something. And they should be pivoting now, and a lot of them still are not.
So, Anthony, I only have 10 seconds left, but I mean, a medium ground, between a lockdown and completely out and open, was that possible?
Well, there were pandemic preparedness reports that were authored as recently as 2018. Dr. Theresa Tam, she would have signed off on those, and they basically say you do targeted responses. You actually deal with the people who are ill, but you don't lock down the people who are healthy.
Well, maybe we're going to learn for the next time. Thanks very much. 3 minutes. In these days of big government and reduced liberties and big spending and paid media, it's even more important that we have independent voices such as this, people coming on talking about the issues. At the very start of this production, we had some very generous donors. That's run out. I don't get paid. I want to put the message out there. However, the equipment, the crew does cost money. So, if you want to help us keep on going with this thing, you can please send a donation. The address is below. Or, if you want to sponsor this and have your name across, also contact us because we want to keep going and have an independent voice. Thanks.